Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
My name is Jack. I'm joined by Oshin, and welcome to our first inaugural race, I suppose, of uh, co-hosted championship with ULRM. So, yeah, this is kind of a new event for us. So, like, the stream could go any sort of way. So, it'll be interesting to kind of see where it goes. I don't think Oshin, you're too familiar with sim racing, are you?
Not overly familiar, no, unfortunately.
That's
This
alright.
is
Yeah.
will be a learning experience for myself, and I'm assuming then most of the chat as well.
Yeah.
So,
So, I suppose in this one we'll probably kind of just go through it, kind of. Um, I'll quickly just go through the kind of rule sets. So the championship is a split class championship. So there's two different types of cars. There's a Porsche 919, which is an LMP1 class, and then there's also a BMW Z4, which is a GT3 class. And the drivers, pretty much, so there's kind of two races going on, and I'll explain more of that once we actually get into the race. So this
sound
is the first race of five. This week is on Spa. Then I think the rest of the schedule is next week will be Monza, and then Silverstone, the GT circuit of Nürburgring, and then Mugello. So yeah, I think the boys are in the practice session, so we might actually just hop over there now and see how they're getting on.
sound. You may need to get an L stream up for me.
That's true. Yep. There you go. I think.
Perfect.
Yeah. So pretty much, can you see the screen there, Rushy?
I can, yes.
Okay. So, let's make it so I can't capture my cursor. Okay. Yeah. So that car there that Darrell O'Connor's driving, that's the Porsche 919, so that's the LMP1 class cars. These are kind of the
Stay
quicker
with me now.
cars.
The quicker. They're the A tier.
Yeah, pretty much. So like these cars are like very aero dependent, so their actual grip will depend heavily on how quick the cars are going. So these cars are kind of like the quicker you go, the faster you can actually be again.
Sound. While they're practicing at the moment, they're getting warmed up, or
Yeah, so a practice
are we?
session like this would be kind of used for tweaking. So in racing as well, you have the cars set up, so it's like whether you want to have a stiff or like a stiff suspension, soft suspension, what pressures you want in your tires, what sort of angles you want on your wings for your downforce. So there's loads of like different parameters you want to tune, and kind of depending on how the
Did you see
cars.
some of the GT3 class car in there as well? I'm assuming some of the other boys are starting to log on now and
Yeah,
warm up as well.
yeah. So the kind of the more bulbous looking cars are the BMWs. So those, I say we should probably see some tight racing in those because the cars won't be as aero dependent. Whereas the 919s, they could have some issues in trying to perform overtakes and stuff, depending on how these slipstreams work. So yeah, actually, I don't
Interesting.
think.
Slipstreams in a virtual game.
Yeah, so it's kind.
Should be.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Sorry, go on. No, go on. I was
Um.
going to be making a stupid joke.
Yeah, no, like these sim racing games have like gotten a lot better over the last kind of 10 years or so. So like you have like the aero effects and stuff really do actually affect the performance of the cars in it. And I suppose as well, actually, just to explain the interface for people who may not be too familiar. So the timer obviously is the time left in the session. So there's 3 sessions. You have a practice session, which is where the guys can kind of tweak their setups and do stuff like get the car performing how they want. Then you have the quali session where I think it's 18 minutes. I have to check the rulebook for that. I think it's a 10-minute practice. What is it here? Okay, a 20-minute qualifying session, and then the points of the quality session is quite simple. It's just who can set the fastest lap, and then that dictates your position on the starting grid. And then there is a 40-minute race.
And I have a new question for the qualifying lap. Can you do as many as you want, or is it just one lap
So you can do as many as you want as long as you can kind of get it within that what do we call it? You know, as long as you can do it within that 20-minute session.
Right. So it's not just a case of if you mess up in your first go around, too bad. That's what you have to do, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, the thing with quality as well is it can be a bit penalizing. So, like, a lot of these tracks have a straight, so you can kind of like. Do you see that?
You can't, unfortunately. No, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see
Yeah.
that like little green tick on the map. So this after this chicane is the start straight. So the start line is actually kind of halfway down here. But depending on the speed you exit out of that corner, can actually affect the lap time for the next lap.
Yeah.
So if you have a bad lap, depending on where you actually screw up, it can actually hurt you a lot. You know, instead of doing one lap, it could hurt you for 2 laps. And looking at the lap times here, like you can see that these kind of LMP1 cars are doing about 158 at the minute. I imagine as the lads get more comfortable, you'll probably see that come down to like a 156, maybe even a 155.
Your screen's gone dark on me again.
Just your eyes, actually, might have that.
Oh, I shouldn't have turned off the light in my room, man. You're right.
Forgot to put the logo in the corner.
Nice.
Yeah, you can even kind of see there on the side. I don't think many of the GT3 class or the BMW have set lap times at the minute. I'm not entirely sure. I think that 229 is the GT3 class. Villa is in.
I believe he was in the GT3 class in the form you showed me earlier on.
Let's check here again. Yeah, he is. So you can kind of see there's huge speed differences here. Now, I'd imagine as well that was probably only just a shakedown lap to just kind of get the car.
Ah, yeah, just get used to it again. Get used to the actual driving in the sim again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's things as well like where you have to warm up the tires and that sort of stuff as well. It's like, you know, if you can also overwork the tires where the tires get too hot and don't grip properly.
Yes.
So it's all kind of about conserving that. Okay, so he went wide there. Okay, so you can kind of see there he had, I think one of his wheels locked up. See how the car kind of chucking that S?
Yeah.
So he brakes too hard. The front brake locked, and then that caused the car to start oversteering, or like the arse of the car came out. And then basically released the brakes, put the weight back on the back so that he could pull the car back forward again. I don't actually know if it was in the rule books whether these lads can use assists or not.
And what do you mean by assists?
Okay, so yeah, so in these games, and even in like cars that people like myself and yourself would drive, there's like driving aids. So you'd have traction control, which basically stops the car applying too much power to like spin the wheels, or if one of the wheels has lost traction, it'll stop sending power to that wheel. You also have like anti-lock brakes, which means that if you slam on your brakes, so basically we'd say if the friction between your brake pad and your brake disc is more than the friction between your tyre and the ground, your tyre is actually not going to roll anymore, it's just going to skid along the ground.
Yeah.
So what ABS does is it just lets off the brake until the tyre starts rolling again, and then we'll apply it again. So it means like, especially for these like driving sims where stuff like brake feel can be very hard to emulate because you don't really have a direct connection with what the wheel is doing, like the tires in the car are doing. Stuff like ABS can actually knock loads of time off your laps. You see there, Oshin Daly's after getting the 157. Yeah, I'd be fairly confident these laps will get down to the 155s.
I still have 2 minutes left on the practice lap.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, these times... Well, Trevor put in a good lap in GT3, actually.
.227?
Yeah. Sorry, I think you probably went black again.
just for a moment.
Yeah. I always think practice is probably the
I
hardest
have a
one to
hit.
talk
I hate to
over.
say that. I need to stay away from.
Sorry, you want to say that again?
Nothing. I can't let Twitch know about my history.
How are the people in the chat finding the audio balance, by the way? I think I have it set, but I also could be completely wrong. Yeah, so there's a program as well I'm using here called AutoCam. So the Assetto Corsa, to be honest, really isn't designed for this sort of spectating that we're doing. So like the weird camera angles and stuff, it's pretty much like the auto director in Counter-Strike, where like I wouldn't be surprised if this will miss some of the on-track action. But it's really hard to like bind swapping of drivers to keys, so see how it goes anyway.
I should be interesting at least.
Well, yeah, no, I think like
it is.
going by the racing that I've done with these lads before, like that Davide Simonetti and Darren, and to be honest, even though Daly should Dara, like I said, the lads in the LMP1 cars, like there should be some really close racing. The lads are very capable at driving. So I think it'll just be interesting to see how actually tight it is at the front of the pack. What you'll see is the quali laps. I imagine they'll only be split by like 0.02 of a second, even if these guys are very good at bunching together.
Especially, I'm assuming for the fact that it's the first time being streamed on our Twitch, these boys might be trying to impress.
Yeah. Like a night out in Coppers or something.
It's even better. Win one of these, then go out and night out in Coppers. Be pulling all around you.
What other use could you have for the prize money, like?
Exactly. Sure, Coppers going out of business. May as well get into it soon.
Actually, just for people that aren't aware as well, so the way these sessions work, obviously bar the race, so the practice and the quality session, essentially, it's up until the timer runs out, and then everyone gets to finish the lap that they're on. So in this session, you can see there, Irla has actually finished his session, but the rest of the lads haven't finished yet. Actually, probably should throw on the tires. Big.
They have until they finish the lap, is it?
Yeah. So once the timer runs out, they get to finish that lap, and then, so if we say you're in a qualifying session, you'd get to finish that lap, and if your lap was quicker than whoever, that lap counts, essentially.
Sound. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think as well in this one, since it's the first race, I don't know if like track limits and stuff are like strictly enforced. Now, to be honest, with these sort of cars, and even with Spa, there's not like a lot of opportunities for you to really cut the tracks, because a lot of these, like even at the chicane there, you can see the sausage curb on the inside of that, and like that's going to slow you down a fair bit.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is there much difference between see on the info on the left hand side, along with the names, there is an M and an S after?
Yeah, so whoa. I guess that's the end of the session. Yeah, so the S and the M, that's basically the tire that they're using. So I think in this race there's probably just 3 different compounds. You probably have soft, medium, and hard. So S, M, and H. You might see a super soft, which would be an SS tire. And pretty much what it means is the softer tire is, the more grip it has, but the faster it wears out. So what you might see in this race is we'll have lads that would go, they might start off with softs just to try and gain that early track lead if they start at the front of the pack, just to get away from everyone, so that when they pit, they're not going to get caught in the traffic when they come out. Now, since the rules here are a mandatory pit, I think we'll probably see people run maybe 2 sets of softs. I know tire wear is at 300%, so even though this is a 40-minute race, it'd be the same as if you had a race of an hour and quick math, 2-hour race, like, do you know? So to be honest, actually, I'd say we might just see medium tires come out. unless someone wants to try something really adventurous. Yeah, so basically, like, one stop is mandatory, whereas if they want to do 2 stops, they can. And the reason you might want to do 2 stops is that you could actually have, so refueling is allowed. So in a lot of
Yes.
like modern motorsports, they've gotten rid of refueling because it's dangerous.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it before, I think there's like a clip with Jos Verstappen back in like '94, or was it Benetton? Maybe Benetton or Jordan. I can't remember who he raced for anyway, but like your man basically pulled off the nozzle, the fuel pump before it was finished. Like the whole paddock just went up in flames. Like,
Yeah, incredibly dangerous. Now, obviously, we're not going to see something like that there in this. It being sim racing, it would be very unfortunate if Assetto Corsa implemented a feature
some
simulated
poor lads,
fire within the pit stop.
Some poor lad's PC just goes up in flames. Like,
What year was the Great Le Mans disaster?
there's been a few. Probably the most notable one recently would be.
Or
What
was
would
there
it
not
be?
the one back in like 1950 something?
Oh yeah, well there's that one. All right. I suppose the one that probably be in most recent history would be the '97 one involving Mercedes, where the car that they had was very prone to flipping. I think it flipped 3 times over the course of the race. Like, twice with the same driver. Poor bastard.
Okay. Surprised that that car managed to make it into the race in the first place.
Yeah, no, it was the issue with it was, so they tried to make the car as slippy as possible, and to do that, they brought the wheels as close together as they could. Like the front and back wheels very close, which meant that the car wasn't that stable.
Which obviously isn't great when you've picked up a bit of speed.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I think
So we're seeing some other people.
Yeah, so that was just the out lap.
Time.
Yeah, so that's just the out lap. That's just them getting into it here, and you can see, like, Peter here is not really going.
Well, he's up at about 300 kilometers an hour.
Oh, he is.
So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
He's fairly trucking along there now.
Does it that?
I think you can fucking activate your Siri. What are you on about? Sorry.
Yeah, just to explain, if people are wondering what the bars and the circle yoke is in the bottom right, pretty much that's your pedals and your steering wheel. So left to right is just clutch, brake, accelerator, and then the one to the right of that is force feedback, which doesn't really matter in this because I'm not the one that's using it. And then the one that's to the right of that again is the steering angle.
Is that the 4 bars?
Yeah, exactly.
In the bottom right. Yeah, sorry, my internet cut out slightly there.
Look, kind of what you want to be seeing here is, and what you might notice with the lads, is that the guys who are in the really fast cars, like the better drivers, their inputs will be very smooth because they're trying to manage how shifting weight to the car. Whereas if you like are very sudden on either the accelerator or the brake, you really upset the dynamics of the car, and that can make you lose a lot of speed.
Yes. Which is not what you want at all.
Not ideal, to be honest. I think Peter... Oh no, Peter's still on his outlap, actually. Never mind. An outlap? That was hardly an outlap. That speed, not hope. Davide comes across. Ooh. Not a quick lap from Davide. Arundel gets a good lap in. Ooh. Machine Daly with a 155. That's really good for how...
Very quick lap.
I was going to say, yeah, Davide is back in the pits. Probably changing some setup. Who's that slow? But these racing games can be very punishing as well, because, like, you make it...
4 seconds doesn't seem like an awful lot, but it's huge in terms of this.
Well, yeah, well, the thing is, like, if you make a tiny mistake in one corner, depending on, like, if that corner was followed by a straight, you could easily lose a second, which is, like, massive amounts of time. Yeah, so what you'll probably see in this race as well is that in these quali sessions, people will probably be just running soft tires. Not entirely sure why Sean's on mediums. Maybe he finds it a bit more comfortable. Oh, never mind. Speak of the devil.
He may have forgotten about it. He's only after realizing there. Possibly.
This camera angle really isn't that great, is it?
Considering it's not even the actual person we're seeing driving. It's just the
Just
their avatar essentially.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird old yoke
not
to
the
set
best
up.
camera view.
See, he's hardly blipping the throttle there, was he? Maybe that was auto blip. Okay, actually, yeah, to explain that, so when you're changing gears, so I was just looking at his the bars in the bottom, and that green bar was like going up a tiny bit every time you shifted down the gear. So when you shift down the gear, your wheel speed. Okay, so you take a car, right? You have your engine and your wheels, and your engine and your wheels are obviously connected together because your engine makes the wheels go round.
Oh, really?
Right?
But, I didn't know that. Thank you for the lesson 101.
But pretty much, so your gears, like the higher a gear you are, the slower the wheel, like the tire goes compared to the engine. Or, yeah, right. So pretty much. Oh jeez, that was a very wide thing there. Where was I? Oh yeah, so when you shift down the gear, the tire speed, like the speed that the engine sees of the wheels goes up a lot.
Yes.
What you basically have to do to compensate is that you basically press the clutch. So when you have the clutch in to change gears, or in these cars where the clutch is automatic, you want to increase the RPM of the engine so that when you release the clutch, the engine and the wheels are at the same speed. Because if you don't do that, the car is going to like jolt because the wheels are going to have to drive the engine to match the speed. If that makes sense. That'll put all the way to the front and be really bad, like especially these kind of race cars where that if you do it, usually you do it in either braking zone or when you start coming into a corner. So you can see here you start to turn in and also changing gear. When you do that, if you brake, you're putting all the weight to the front of the car, and that can cause oversteer, and that can cause the back of the car to come around.
Fair. Not what you want when you're coming off the corner.
No, definitely not.
We're almost 10 minutes in. We've still a few people that don't.
Yeah, we don't have that many GT3 qualifying times. Looking at it, just checking.
Missing or.
Okay, one of the participants isn't actually in this list.
Oh, really? Who's that?
I don't see Aaron in here. Quite possibly he is. Maybe I'm just blind.
Infiltrated the server.
That actually happened back in F1 in like 1973 or something. The guy got like disqualified in like the practice session, and somehow he managed to sneak onto the racetrack with his car and did like 10 laps before the lads realised he was racing. Have a look here now. Yeah, it's really hard to know what the pace is with these GT3 class. I assume Irla's time there is probably not too far off the pace.
I am assuming Sean is probably not the correct pace for the GT3s.
What I'd assume Sean is doing is he's probably just getting the setup ready for the race. So, this that was a good lap by Trevor.
Another 2.24. So
pretty much an entire second off that last time. That's good. Yeah, I'd say the way Sean's driving here, I'd say he's probably just getting ready for the what do we call it? Just for the race to get comfortable to what the car can do. Yeah, I think there's much exciting happening this quality time. Pushing Daly's time still stands quite strong, to be honest. Himself and Peter are both in the pits though. Setup change maybe. I'd say Sean's come back to pits as well. I think he's getting a bit unfortunate there. I think these LMP1 cars are kind of catching him a lot, where he actually needs to test, where he's trying to test the car for himself. Have you ever tried sim racing before, Shane, actually? You gone? Gone. You there, Rushing? Never mind. Oh, gone. How's the chat doing this evening? Not really too much, I'd say, to comment on for the minute until. Oh, drag it back in. Hello.
Yes, I apologize for that there. My little gap will have. It's fairly dog shit.
The witches?
Still fairly dog shit.
I could probably reduce my streaming quality too if your internet's bad, actually. If you think that'd help.
You may have to just ever so slightly.
Thank you.
Because I tried to watch your stream there again and it's almost crapped out me again.
There, I stream at like 30. It probably looks a lot worse, but.
And does that affect? No, does that affect the actual stream that you have up there for Twitch? Or
No, it's separate.
just for me. Sound.
Yeah, pretty much.
As long as I can still see what's going on.
I don't think we've really seen any lap times in the last 5 minutes here.
Nothing huge. We did see. Well, I can't really see the name properly now, but T Mac, he did set a lap time of 2:24 there, so it just obviously cemented the fact that that's probably going to be the lap times for the GT3s in this qualifying race.
Yeah, I would say so. Looking at it, it's kind of. I'm interested to see Steven here might get a decent lap. He's kind of on the soft, so he's definitely going for a quick lap. I'd say Aaron and Sean are probably just going more for a race setup.
Fair enough.
Oh, Steven cuts the time by another 200 milliseconds. Nice.
Very well played.
Yeah, so that's obviously the battle for the GT3.
Yeah.
Be interested to see if I feel like Trevor has it in him, if he can just put a good lap together. This autocam just like does not know how to handle practice sessions at all.
I can confirm, unfortunately, that UL Esports lost the first match against the NCI Panthers.
What was the score?
11-16 first match in Dust 2, and it's currently 2-1 to UL Bios going into the second map in Inferno.
That'd be an interesting game to actually. Yeah, I know NCI, like, when we were playing them before, they were pretty, like, strong gun-wise, but. Yeah, I must have a look at that after this game. Or after this race.
The ULB Sports are currently 8-all against.
Fearlith is hammering it. We have a good time. Oh, I'm throttled maybe a bit too early. What's the time though?
How did you pronounce that name again?
Oh, he's off by 0.003 of a second. No. Oh, that's so close. Sorry, Irla.
Irla, yes, it is Irla. It hurts me when you say Irla. It also hurts me because I've heard another caster in recent times as well also refer to it as Irla.
So that just wasn't me in a different stream.
Oh, I'm fairly certain it was from a different from one of the ice boils, I believe.
Yeah,
But sure, what would those Dublin boils know about pronouncing Irish names?
that's true. This isn't a political stream, actually. Jeez, Peter got that lap
There was
in, and I didn't
unheard of
even
it.
see it. Only 300th off the lead. And
Oh,
Oisin put
did
in a
nearly, yeah,
blistering lap there at the start, like.
yeah, he's well happy with that one. The real question is, will we be able to keep it up in the
Yeah.
actual race?
I'm surprised Davide is behind as much as he is. Maybe he's just going for a normal setup. Like from my own experience, he's usually a very quick driver, so it is possible he's
The
just
only
kind of
problem today,
practicing for more conserving tires than.
yeah, the only problem with the current stream call you have for me is I can't see the time properly for some of the ones. And they
Second.
just a little blurred.
I'll set it to 7:20:30. Let me know how you get on. I go down to like 7:20:15 if you want, but I don't know if you want to watch a race and slideshows like. Oh, Sean puts in a decent lap. Finally getting it together. He is on the medium tires too, so his times are going to be affected by that.
So he's probably getting himself used to it for the actual race.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is it possible for me to get sector times? And it's just hard to. Let's show a sector time. Yeah, so usually, if you had like a proper thing, you'd have. So a track is usually divided into 3 sectors, and then you can kind of see where people are making or losing time in each one of those sectors. What have we got a new time there? Dara sets a new personal best. A little bit off the pace though.
58.
So it could also be the sort of thing as well. It's possible that the likes of Oisin and Peter here were running very low fuel, which will make the cars like significantly faster. But then you're not really sure when you start the race. You might, because you think the car is lighter than it actually is, you might brake too late, and you can actually throw off your whole thing. So.
Coming into the final minute, anyways, of the qualifying race to see if any of they can.
I feel like Oisin's time is probably going to be the set
Maybe the
time.
benchmark, they're not gonna, yeah.
It's a very quick lap. You just see if Stephen here though can extend his lead a small bit. His lap seemed like it came. Yeah, his lap seemed like it came together there fairly well.
Is that?
Oh, there we go. He cuts another half a second off his time. I think Stephen's kind of set the bar for the GT3 class.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat now. We still have no qualifying time from Aaron though.
Yeah, maybe he's just spectating actually.
He was the imposter as well. So.
Gonna come out in a completely different type of car altogether.
Do we have 3 brothers competing today?
I actually don't know, to be honest. It seems very coincidental that they're all surnamed Brett, but I want to jump to it. Okay, so the quality session is over shortly. Okay, Trevor is going to be the first to cross the line once the session's over. What's the time? Trevor sets a blistering time, knocks another second off. So Trevor's now at the head of the GT3 pack. That was a lovely put together lap.
Did well to catch up to Stephen there.
There we go. That was a very good lap by Trevor. Talk about leaving it to the end, though.
Not sure if you answered there because I did have a bit of problem with my internet there a second ago, but I was asking, was there three brothers competing in this today?
I don't know if
See.
they're brothers. I know they're all Brett, but I actually have no idea if they're brothers or if they're related at all.
Right. It's one of those situations where all the people from a county are
Yeah.
called McKenna, or
Yeah,
if
pretty
you're
much.
from Mayo, you're all an O'Malley or a
Or a Walsh.
Walsh is all over the place.
I think they're all over Mayo too.
Well, if they're all over the place, well then they'll definitely be all over Mayo. Like.
Here now, Sean seems to be.
Nah.
Yeah, okay, Sean's time is over. Is that the session over? Oh, it is. Alright, I thought the lads would get another chance to finish, but obviously not.
Apparently not. No, we are about to go into the actual race now.
Yeah, so there'll probably be another minute, I'd say, or maybe even 2 minutes between this and the actual race. See there, I'd say that, yeah, that's the end of the session. So we have Oisín first place, Peter in second, Dara in third, Darren in fourth, Darren fifth, Davide in sixth, and that's all the LMP1 classes. Then in the LMP or the GT3 class, we have Trevor, followed by Stephen, then Irla, Dawn, and I don't think Darren set a time in the end.
He did. It was 2:28 in the end, so he was in the final position.
Okay. Maybe he's just having some issues with his setup.
Possibly.
Yeah, so
we have our.
So what's going to be really important here now is kind of this first corner, because probably the longest straight in like nearly any racetrack is kind of after it. So you have coming down into Eau Rouge, which is that like weird kind of left right hander, which I'll show you once we actually get into this. Jeremy on the group. So yeah, so pretty much to get like this first corner here is going to be really important. I think Oisín starts on the inside, which should give him the track control around the corner. But it means that if he has to yield to Peter here, Peter will get a great exit.
Yes.
So it's a lot of this
It'll be
kind of.
interesting to see, anyways.
Yeah, it'll be.
With the first corner,
Oisín's on the mediums though. Peter could have a lifeline here. If he can get a good start off here, he might actually be able to make that corner before Oisín can get to it and actually get a proper exit out and long straight up into Eau Rouge and beyond. So how's the start going to go? Is the camera going to... No false starts. Okay, Stephen gets a good start. So does Sean. Trevor has a huge issue there starting off. Oisín managed... Oh, Oisín goes wide at the start. Jeez, a lot of them go wide at the start. Okay, there we go. So Dara's actually the one that starts pulling away. And you can see here now he's going to probably start pulling away. They're going through Eau Rouge. Oh, it's still tightly packed. Oh, they're all the same livery. No.
It's going to be hard to tell them apart.
Yeah.
Are the cars numbered, or
the cars are numbered, but they're not numbered according to their thing, I don't think. No, yeah, because George definitely wasn't at the start. So
there's a lot
there. Oh, Oisín Daly gets pushed back into sixth. Peter also falls into fourth. Dara's leading this race, comfortably enough. Yes, I'd be interested to see now if the auto camera thing decides to actually go back. So you can see here already, like that. The distance that these LMP1 cars are pulling on these GT3 class cars straight away.
And I'm assuming
Irla goes wide and loses 3 positions to that, does he? Jeez, that was a very costly mistake.
I was going to ask, we do see, so at the top we obviously have Connor in first place setting the lead, but we have then below him David at 1.6. I'm assuming that means he's 1.6 or 1.7 seconds behind the lead.
Yeah, so
from then on it's consecutive behind the person ahead of them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much just how far they are from the person ahead of them. So Peter there just overtook Davide.
Yeah.
Look here,
And
very tight racing
Connor
at the
is
start though.
pulling ahead quite a bit from the looks of it anyway.
Yeah. So what you're
At
seeing
the
here is
moment.
that this tight pack racing that these guys are doing here is going to affect them, their speed a bit, and also have a look to see that Dara and Peter are using the soft tires, so they're naturally going to pull away here.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
big thing here is like Peter really needs to start making this gap work, because otherwise, once the pit stops start coming into it, he's going to really struggle to actually deal with that. Dara's off to a great start though. Expected no less.
He is.
You're going to make a move? Ah, that's way closer. These camera angles can be a bit deceiving at times.
Dara does have a commanding lead.
Dara could outbreak Davide here. Ah, Davide has that closed.
Daly, unfortunately, is quite
Yeah,
a considerable bit behind.
he spun it. I think he kind of, the back end went out on him and won the corners, and he's kind of just behind now.
Very unfortunate considering the lap time he got in the qualifying time.
But see, that can be the thing. It's quite possible that he brakes too late because he thought the car was lighter than it was. That's what actually might have made him lose it. So it's something you always have to be kind of careful of, is that you want to set a good time, but you also need to be aware that the car will change how it feels afterwards. Like, what I think is surprising as well, like, a lot of the lads were on softs for the quality, but now they're all back in mediums.
Yeah.
Like, I quite like Dara's approach here, like Dara Connor and Peter's approach of going on the softs. I think they spent the last 20 minutes getting used to the softs. They probably should just stay on the softs, try and get your gap. And once you have your gap, then maybe either go for another soft pit. I don't know if mediums would last, so they might need to go to a hard. It'd be interesting to see if the lads have actually remembered to set up their pit stop strategies. I imagine the LMP1 cars definitely would have GT3. Interesting to see. Team those got a good lap there.
There's only one of them.
Oh, we have a spin out from Stephen.
He has managed to.
Oh no. Can't swap either with the camera, damn it. Alright, Stephen, I seen that though, don't you worry. There's quite a close battle there happening on the back between GT3 as well. I don't know if the game will go. I mean, probably not, because this battle here is really close. He has the run on him. Can you take him on the straight? Good defending. Okay, so Davide here has the inside line. Can he force Dara or Darren to? Yeah, there. Nicely done, Davide. You can see there by Davide actually positioning himself on the track, he prevented Darren from doing that overtake.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to see here now is that Darren will just tuck up in behind Davide and just try and wait for another opportunity like that again. Because what can happen is you have people like, you don't want to be too eager for the overtake because you'll only make mistakes yourself. So what you kind of want is just tuck in behind. Oh. Okay, that looks a bit funky because of the lag.
Sure. There wouldn't be esports in Ireland if there wasn't a bit of lag now, would it?
Oh god.
Yeah, I was going to mention there too that the only person running soft tires in the GT3's UL has now managed to pull back most of the positions that he lost when he went wide that time. He's now only a tiny bit behind Trevor.
Yeah, he's going to have to. I'm not entirely sure how long the softs will last on this track, to be honest. Like, I don't know if you can get away with just a single stop on the softs. Didn't actually weigh it up. The lads would have maybe a bit of a better idea, because the game will actually tell you when you do a couple of laps, they're kind of expected fuel consumption. I think it tells you your tyre wear as well. I'm not entirely sure on that.
So what you're saying is you don't believe soft off will do it? They might have to transition into soft medium, is it?
I think even if it could do it, I don't know if it's the best strategy. I think in this sort of thing, perhaps just low fuel and just try and make that gap so you can get your first stop in. Like, Dara here is flying away, but like, he got 7 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
You know, these split gaps can be a bit deceiving at times because of just the way the corners work. Like, he's a fair chunk ahead, you know. Now, he's probably also aware, like, that he is ahead because of his tires. So, he's literally just going to focus in on just getting that gap. You know. Darren is really close to overtaking Davide. He's tucked up his hole, like. It'd be interesting to see here now if Trevor feels like he needs to keep with Irla or if he's actually just going to let him off and then just kind of focus on his own racing. I don't think it's worth tire degradation to actually fight him. Like, he's on better tires, you know he's going to have to pit before you. So you might as well just kind of let him off. Otherwise you'd be a bit too aggressive on your own tires. Still alive, Oisin?
I'm still here. Still struggling along in it.
About, yeah. There. Davide got a good bit of distance there between himself and Darren. Darren must have fucked up. And Oisin did well to recover from his falling behind in the pack, though. You know, I don't know whether that's through his own ability or if Davide and Darren are just kind of falling back to meet him. Like.
Well, Davide's pulled, as you said there, he has pulled quite a bit ahead of Darren, so it might have been something more on the part of Darren himself. Might have messed up and it allowed Oisin to catch up to him.
Well, the times Oisin are the other way around, so Davide is the 6 seconds behind Ger, and then Darren is only 1.5 seconds behind Davide, if that makes sense. So Darren and Davide are actually really close to each other.
I was reading it the wrong way, yeah.
So if you look at the map there,
yeah, no, those three are quite a fair distance away of the back three then, so.
I think it's comparing them to Jur there, like Jur has a good 8-second gap on them, so there must be, or even the 10-second gap there, like, so there must be some issue. Aaron there had to yield for that. Jur.
Only natural that the second-class citizens yield for the first-class citizens. Am I right?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if it's enabled in the server, but they'll have to, like, in real life racing, if there's a quicker car behind you, you get blue flags and you have to, like, let them pass eventually. Let's look up there.
Well, whatever you are looking up, you may need to hurry because the screen went black.
Back? Yeah, it's a bit of a pain, this, to be honest. Can't keep it up. Don't clip that.
That's what she said, yeah.
Well, she's doing a good job closing this gap to Darren, though. Might actually be in a position to. He won't be able to do it on. Oh, jeez, he is so quick through Eau Rouge. He actually might be able to take it here. Nah, he's too far behind. Still though, pretty good. But try and pressure him under the braking. Don't know if he will though. Come on, game. I can literally see them on the right there. They're on top of each other. Darren holds that off though. Yeah, here we go. This is the battle. Oh, Oisin's got the inside line. Oh, it's just. See, so this is where you kind of have to be careful. So Oisin here really wants his position off Darren. But the two of them could kind of, so Darren defending and Oisin being aggressive here could actually affect both their times to the point where they might find it hard to catch with Davide. So you can see there, Davide is actually starting to make some time. Oh, Oisin makes the pass though. And we didn't get to see it. Oh, Cam, thank you.
No way, no instant replay.
No, God no. You don't have the budget for that, sure.
Sure, you're the treasurer.
Yeah. Hard to be treasurer when there's no money.
Don't say that. These people are expecting their jerseys soon.
Yeah, cool. It's a bit like that Simpsons meme. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have told him that.
Oh, I should not have said that.
Oh, Darren makes the pass to Nushin again, though. Ooh, we could have a bit of a fight going on our hands here. The timer is going completely out. Did Nushin spin out? Oh, Nushin, yeah. Was that a racing incident? No, I feel like that might be looked into after the race. That kind of seemed to happen out of nowhere. And looking at how much time he lost, it felt more than if he just kind of overbraked. It felt like he spun out.
Oh, like it was fairly instantaneous. Like he dropped all the way to like 15 seconds behind Darren there.
He just dropped the ball. It's hard to know. Probably be coming up in our first pit stops, I'd say, as well, in about 5 minutes. How's Aaron thing? Aaron has done great work, actually. I completely missed that. He's second in the GT3 class. Starting from the back of the pack, that's not showing at all.
I'm assuming Irla. Jeez, you got me saying Irla now. Irla must have pitted already because he has switched out his tires.
Oh, he actually probably had. Actually, do you know what? I actually seen that. I seen him go into the pit lane, and I just took no heed of it whatsoever.
No. Here I was thinking I did something well. I managed to pick up on something nice, and of course you.
Okay, so we've another car in the pits now. Who is that? Hammer thing.
Even breath, maybe. No.
Could be. I just know. See, that's what I don't really like about this game with the spectating is the full track map on the right. It just doesn't tell you where they are. Stretch. Okay, so we've no LMP1 cars going into pits yet. Would be nice to be able to like get the lap times as well to compare their current laps and their previous laps. Okay, so Ushi now is in the pits. I think this would be interesting to see his strategy now. Is he just going for mediums again, or will he try and do an undercut by softs? Pretty much what the undercut is just you pit earlier, hoping that you can overtake the rest of them before they have to pit, but making up the time by doing faster laps.
Yeah.
Ushin's on the hards. 25 minutes left. Yeah, maybe. Maybe those tires are more worn than we'd think. So obviously Ushin here is going for a one-stop strategy. So he won't be pitting again. You know, to be honest, looking at how much tire life that Sarah and Peter here again now, these softs, don't know if you actually needed the hards. It's to be honest, it's possibly something he's
feeling a bit separate after what happened, not once but twice getting knocked to the back of the back.
But I think as well in this game you set up your pit stops. You can do it while you're in the pit lane, but it can be really cumbersome to try and change the settings unless you have like bound to your wheel. So it's possible he set the thing. Okay, Steven's in the pit now. So it could be the sort of thing where he set up the thing expecting to have higher tire wear and just didn't have it. Okay, Peter's coming in now, so here we'll see. Does he go to the hards or does he go to the mediums? I'm interested for Steven as well. See where he ends up. Or what he decides to choose. I'd imagine he's going to pick mediums again though. Who's in? Oh, David is also in.
David's also in.
Right, if Derek knows these guys are pitting, he probably should pit soon to stop these guys trying to undercut him. Peter going back out on the softs. No, Peter's on the mediums now. So
Peter's on the medium.
I would say he's probably going for a one stop as well. Yeah, I'd say Oshin just kind of was in a bit of hard luck. He probably thought the tire wear was more than it is. And he's all like, he was just unfortunate there. He had a couple of incidents in the race, so he'll find it very hard now to catch up with the rest of these drivers, because I imagine Davide is going to stay on mediums. Yeah, he's coming out of the pits. Yeah, he's still on mediums.
Stephen Brett went to soft, though.
Yeah, to be honest, that's probably a good choice by him. He's at the back of the pack. He needs to like, he's 8 seconds behind Sean at the minute. Now, some of those guys still need to pit. I think Irlat did pit, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, so he could definitely catch Sean.
Could be wrong, but I think he's the only other one who's pitted in the GT3.
Yes. I expect we will see Dara in this lap. I don't know. Is he just after going? Oh, he's just after going through the pit straights, is he? Yeah. Did you want to? Well, I suppose, yeah. He might be kind of just trying to use his fuel here more than actually too worried about the tire life. As it, like, that sort of stuff is hard to know without actually seeing their like lap times. See now the pack's kind of spread out a bit now since we've half pitted and half not. And you'll see that it'll come back into like getting close again afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're nearly halfway through the race now, and to be honest, Dara's doing a huge, like a great work here, like keeping out in front by such a gap.
Still struggling in the back of the pack.
Yeah, that pit stop's probably going to hurt him now a bit more, just with the hard tires. 10 seconds.
And what would the benefits of a hard tire normally be? Would it just be that he'd be able to stay out on the...
You can stay out longer, yeah.
On the front for longer? Yeah,
exactly that. So you're slower, but you don't have to pit. So, like as I said, I would assume the fact he went mediums and hards, he was afraid that his tires would just disintegrate into nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas, looking at what Dara is doing there in first, like, is... Like, I'm surprised he's still out in them softs with 300% tire wear. 30 laps in softs is pretty good, to be honest. So Trevor's in now. I imagine he'll probably go back to the softs again.
I don't think Trevor was on
Not softs, sorry, mediums. That's what I meant to say.
Medium.
There's not much he even needs to do here now to upset the status quo. Okay, Dara is in. What tires will he pick? We want to see it. If he wanted, I'd say he could go softs again. He got half the session through, half the race through on softs. Like, if he kept the softs here, really could just go for it, because he only needs to do one lap after that. Well, Jura's also in. Trevor picked the mediums. Yeah, Dara's back out on the softs.
Yeah, stayed in the softs.
Brave man. Knows his car well. That's a very ballsy strategy. Like what?
Well, he did get half the race on the softs. He might be confident in the fact that he could finish out this next half with a brand new set of softs.
Well, you know, that's exactly it. Like, the most these tires will have to do now is only like another 21 minutes, which is only like a minute longer than what he had to do. Like, if he keeps it clean here, he's going to be very hard to catch. Darren's 2.5 seconds behind him, but he has that tire difficulty that he has to overcome as well. I think if Derek can keep it clean, he has this, but like there's still an awful lot left.
So many different variables that come into play.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. It's, I suppose, kind of like a game of League or something that way, where like you know, if you lose something early game, it can be very hard to recover. This is the same sort of thing. Like if he made a mistake here now, his race is ruined. Like, you know what I mean? If it was like big enough.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Oisin Daly, unfortunately, is the prime example of.
Yeah, I think his strategy at the pit stop, he's like, I think if that was different, he could probably catch Davide here. I feel like he could. I think he's been a bit of hard luck just the way he kind of got caught. Because the issue now is like he could pit for softs, but I don't think his car would still be quick enough to get back, like to get back to the back. So he just kind of has to hang in there.
Darnell was back there with Oisin Daly at one stage. Oh, we do see a pit coming out from Darnell now. Is that his first time into the pit? Or?
Yes, it is. I was gonna say I don't think he was up that high because he was behind David
Yeah,
for a long time.
That's what I was hinting at there. Essentially, was he went from 5th all the way up to 2nd, and I was wondering what exactly happened. But
I imagine he'll go on to softs here, because I think like he should be able to make it last. Even if he's planning it beforehand, he's stayed out longer than the rest of the pack.
He still seems to be on medium.
Yeah, is he coming out of the pits? Oh, he's out of the pits. Yeah, he did stay on the medium.
He stayed on the medium.
I felt like that could have been his like trump card. If he pulled out the softs there, he could possibly have caught up to Jur.
Yeah.
Not that he can't do it on the mediums, just that little advantage would help him, especially when he only needs the tyres to last another 16 minutes, like, or 17 or 18 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah. I see a pit coming in for my Sean now as well.
So Stephen reclaim that lovely 10th place.
Do you think Sean will take that tactic up? Will he switch this? Will he switch this off? Or?
I think Stephen here is on the undercut. I wouldn't call it a full undercut, but like the fact he got onto the softer tyre earlier, I think he might have the advantage here. So if Sean stays on mediums, he'll find it very hard to catch up. And those lads are a fair bit away from the rest of the pack. Irla and Trevor though, like let's see Irla taking this to him.
Yeah, Aaron does have a commanding. Yeah, Sean has pushed on to the stop
Yeah,
now.
Aaron did pit, didn't he?
I don't know if he did, to be honest. I could be wrong. But I do remember at one stage that there was only 2 lads that had pitted from the GT3 class, and I don't think Aaron. I think Aaron's one of the ones that still needs it. I'm not sure if he has pitted yet.
I'm gonna go out of the way and say he hasn't. Just looking at his qualifying, so I feel like he hasn't. And also, he's like 12 seconds ahead of Trevor and Irla, who were like both kind of set in the session times. Well, actually, Stephen had the best quality, didn't he?
He did, yes.
And Dara is pulling away. Oh my god.
Go again.
Yeah, there we go. Aaron's in the pits now.
Yes, sir.
So the natural order has been restored. Dara's having the race of his life. Those 25 points are his. Oh yeah, actually, I don't think you'd know, so I'll just explain for yourself and people in the chat as well. So the points in this is going to be similar to how the points work in Formula 1. So pretty much, first place is 25 points, second is 18, third is 15, fourth is 12, fifth is 10, and then like sixth is 8, seventh is 6, and it keeps going on and on.
Yeah.
And then there's also
we're only up. Yeah, I'm assuming then like because between the different classes. So in our case, it's going to be stopping an Oisin Daly for the LNP class, and then for the GT3, if Trevor finishes, he gets 25 points.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also 4 points for pole position. So I think Stephen got that for GT3, and I think Oisin got that for actually, what do we call it, for the LMP class. And then there's also 1 point for the fastest lap. So I would assume the fastest lap was set in quali. Just looking at how everyone's running mediums. Maybe Dara got a good fast lap in before it just kind of after the pit stop.
Probably won't be able to tell until the end of the.
Yeah, exactly. So getting that pole, actually, I didn't realize the pole was worth so many points there. It's actually worth a fair bit to Oshin. I think that actually puts him, like if things end the way they are at the minute, those 4 points would put him in the same amount of points as Darren. Like, but put him ahead of Davide, but like they both have 12 points.
Yes.
Also, Darren's having a good race though.
So he gets those 4 points for having the fastest qualifying time.
Yes, exactly. Well, oh no, actually, it's the fastest lap in the race, I think. Not faster than quali, it's faster in the race. So I would assume it's Dara that has that then, because he's been running softs for the entire session. Peter might have one because he had the stint on softs. Yeah, we'll have to check afterwards actually, if the lads actually.
Yeah, he's got them down. You know, you'd assume Dara, considering the commanding lead that he's had and the distance he's been able to maintain, that he probably has had the fastest lap altogether.
Oh yeah, no, he's absolutely flying. Okay, Sean, I think slowed down a bit too much there. Trying to see in his throttle. But he also had some overs through there. He's going to have to yield here for.
Aaron actually stayed with the mediums that time. Thought he might have swapped over to a soft, considering he pitted very late.
I did not actually think he would come out in that position. Have a look here. Oh, that Beamer could be in a dirty place from when he comes out of Eau Rouge. Oh!
Oh!
Nearly disaster for Jur. Who spun out there?
Who spun out there?
Oh, Aaron. It just shows you the lead he had. He spun out, got it back, and still it's grand, like.
Yeah.
Gives Stephen a chance to close the gap here, though.
Stephen a chance, considering he's running soft tires as well. He's got that tiny bit of an edge now.
Nice, yeah. He got that gap down to like 2.5 seconds on the braking. Okay, Stephen's still in a position now to challenge this. Better tires. Yeah, I'd say Aaron's might be struggling with his tires a small bit if he slid out there in Eau Rouge. You know, Eau Rouge is a bit weird because like the way that the weight shifts in the car, you kind of have to be. You can do a flat out, but like you have to be very ginger with like your inputs and stuff because the car just wants to kick out because of the way you come over the crest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think pretty much the battles we're going to see here really is going to be between Peter and Jer, and I would say between Stephen and Aaron. So I think the rest of the gaps are kind of fairly well cemented. I don't think anyone's really making time on each other.
No, it'd be enough.
A good 10 minutes here now for Jer to close down that gap.
Who went off there?
Someone go off?
That's Stephen. Oh, it looks like somebody just went off the track ever so slightly. Seemed to slow them down a tiny bit.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was actually checking the minimap. I didn't see that at all. Oh, there I'm in the pit.
TV crew.
Yeah, that's my name. You have to call yourself TV crew for the camera to not look at you. It's like I really don't want to look at the pits like. Yeah, this game isn't actually the worst to spectate. Like, it took a while to get to this, but it's still kind of... Alright, Sean. That's not what I expected when we went to that camera angle.
I don't know, what happened there exactly, but...
I'd say he probably put too much throttle on the exit and the back just went on him. He's just too eager on the accelerator, put the weight in the back when the car was trying to turn, and...
I think he's trying to do a bit of catch up quickly and...
Yeah, well
not working for him.
Well, the gap, yes, the gap between Aaron, Stephen and Sean is fairly big. Maybe
well, yeah,
you'll catch Trevor. too hopeful though.
No, the gap between Stephen and Aaron there seems to be what,
It's
12 seconds, 11 seconds.
yeah. So I think it's like when it goes
Wow.
over 15 seconds, or like when it starts any proportions of a lap, it's like okay, that's not good.
Yeah. So
This is
whatever every bit of catch up Stephen had that time Aaron spun out, he's lost the majority of it.
yeah. I think Aaron. Yeah, it does seem like it actually. Looking at it, maybe Stephen can catch. Stephen has the tires to catch him, and like I know Aaron pitted a bit later, but I don't think it was that much later than Stephen. Maybe like a lap or two at the max.
I think it was about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, so like there's probably only a lap in it. So if like if Stephen gets his head down, he probably could catch. But it is all about nailing these X's on these like long straights, because that's like Spa is very important on those. Like this big long straight here after the turn 1. It's like you gotta go to X on that, and you like by the complete end. If you get that and you nail that kind of over rouge or that S curve right, you can gain like 2 seconds. Like, it's really important to hit that properly. Lara is still commanding with a lead of 17 seconds. They're closing that gap though.
Could it be a possibility of Gar turning into a corner as Jared's coming onto a straight, sort of? So obviously Jared's going to have the acceleration.
Yeah, so like.
That instant. So like, it looked like he's closing it in, but it's just kind of a bit. You're not seeing the full picture. Why?
Exactly. Yeah, the gap timing is always up and down. He is definitely catching him though. Stephen's in the pits again.
Again? The second pit?
Retiring, or is he just going for a pit stop? Oh, he must be out of fuel. Yeah, he probably didn't fill up the car enough. Fair enough. Oh, he has had a few spins and stuff, and that can actually, like, a lot of these guys like to run their cars as tight to the line as they can. Well, that could be the issue. I think that's kind of what could fight Dara here, really. Depending where he is on this last lap. You might actually see him slow down a small bit just to try and end the race earlier. Come on, Jer, I know you can catch it.
Lost the second lap as well.
Aww. How are the other teams doing? There's like 3 or 4 of them in there.
I will double check that.
There's 3 of them, I think. We get 3 of them, we have Tropics as well. Oh, we have a close thing here between Sean and Stephen. Can Sean get him in the braking zone?
Their first map.
Oh, 0.4 seconds.
UL beat their first map.
Okay.
Lads. All.
Surprised they give up the racing line like that. You're here. Chance to do it.
Very close to.
Yeah, but he's getting caught between the GT3 cars. Will Stephen yield to let him pass? Oh, just about. That was a risky move. Okay, the match got past him. Sean spun out as well.
He needed to do it. He wanted to. Again.
I think Sean hit something. The suspension looked fairly freaked there, whatever it was. I'm not actually sure. I'm just gonna say, you okay again?
Yeah, no. Currently, so the UL first team lost both their maps, and the other 3 teams have all lost their first map.
It's a bad day in the office.
Bad day in the office. Well, that doesn't matter to us because we're here for some interesting racing.
That's it. I'm interested to see if Jer can close this gap. What are the lap times? The lap times are close as well. Like, could do it. If you can kind of keep with it, like if you could tighten it down to that 1 second thing, that could be the point where you're that close, you're pressuring the person in front of you. So like, you know, if you can feint Peter into making kind of a defensive move stuff, that should be the sort of thing where Jer could really catch up. I do think the rest of the race is fairly well sorted as regards distances, like, unless there's a big incident. I don't really see any of the other positions changing. It's pretty much this battle for second that we're kind of here. We'll sure try and go aggressive on the brakes. Don't really know if there's much Jer can do.
It's very close, but the time is also incredibly close.
Yeah, 3 minutes. So there's looking at it, kind of depending on where Dara is. So he's halfway through. He's probably in the back. I would say we probably have 2 laps left. Be close. The lap times are kind of like 150, and he's kind of on 0.7. So yeah, we could have kind of the extra lap, but I would imagine Dara might just slow down a small bit to avoid it. Try to get the club. Good tidy racing for both of them though.
Now, is this a case of brother v brother, or is it just lads with the same name again?
No idea. Genuinely, no idea.
If they are brothers, who's going to have the bragging rights at the dinner table tonight? Well, not tonight anyways, it's 9 o'clock, but...
Oh. I've had dinner after 9 o'clock. I'm sure you have too.
Oh, well, that's when you've gone to bed at second 10 o'clock in the morning. Woken up at 7.
Look, I never said it was my proudest moment, alright? Oh.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Oh,
how is the racing going? Would you give me a lowdown?
Hold on. I just turn you. You can join my stream there if you want to have a look. So yeah, we're just kind of coming into the final things of it. So, Dara Connor here has had like such a commanding lead at the start. He's been pulling away. Kind of done just a one-stop strategy of 2 softs. Everyone else, I think, has been a bit more conservative with the tyre choice, kind of going between mediums and hards. And I think Oisin is the only one that put on hard tyres.
He is the only one that put on hard. They put it on very early, and
how do you think he's been finding those hard tyres so far?
What happened there? Does that happen there? Did the UI just crap itself?
UI just crap itself. So we'll change position. Like, he's close to David, but he's been stuck in that number 6 position now for basically since the start of the match, start of the race.
Well, 0.1 of a lap isn't that close. 0.1 of a lap is like 16 seconds. So there's huge gaps between 4th, 5th, and 6th. I must say though, like Dara here, I say is just nursing it home at this point. He looking at those last couple of corners, he wasn't really giving it full belly. I'd imagine he'll.
No, but especially like towards the end of the race, you know, a bit fatigued. You don't want to be making any mistakes. You know, playing it safe could be a very good option here for him.
Oh, exactly, yeah. But the thing as well is that so this format is 40 minutes plus a lap, and the lap is kind of dictated by the lead. So if he just waits, like he's kind of, oh, did he do the lap? What a madman! He actually did the lap. I thought he had the space to slow down and not have to do it. Fair enough. Yeah, so we're kind of coming into the last lap now. The session is over. So wait, why is it 2 laps? Alright, anyway. So Jer still has a lifeline here now to catch up to Peter.
Yeah, still battling for that second position.
Yeah, I think Dara here as well. I think I said it before, but that coasting is going to be kind of what he's going to do. And this camera angle is so useless. I have to remove this in the config. It's so bad. How's your CSGO games go, Des?
We lost both games. They're quite close. I think that the issue with the team is, you know, we're quite new and a lot of teams put a lot more effort into, you know, the practice. I think that what we'll need to do is just get more familiar with our players, and that might, you know, for us into the rest of the season is that, you know, as we play more matches, we're going to get much more comfortable with each other. I think that will really be the turning point for the team.
Yeah. Oh, no, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't really get much of a chance to have a look at the stuff. Just kind of doing this for the last while. Oh.
Like, this is quite interesting though.
I thought Peter made it for a second. Jer, come on, Jer, you can catch him. 2 laps left. You're within that 1 second window.
I'm sensing a bit of bias here, or is it you just want a bit of something spicy to finish up the...
He's in a position to do it.
geez.
Ah, fucking GT3 car, get out of the way. No offense. I think that's Trevor.
You're not worthy.
Oh no, this fight could be really good.
They are kind of very close, you know, one wrong move or one inside corner.
So what is...
I'd say it's going to come down
Is
to
it
this
the
back
case
straight,
of-
like.
They're on to the last lap now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's last lap. That should be Dara that set that. So pretty much when Dara finishes, then once everyone crosses the finish line, the race is over. So even if they're like, so see how Trevor there's behind 3 laps? The race will finish for him. So once Dara crosses the line, as soon as everyone else crosses the line, the race is over. It just stops having fast cars and slow cars on the track at the same time. No, Jer. So close to greatness.
He's falling behind a bit now.
No, he needed to be tucked in there.
There'll be no catching Dara anyways. He's
Irla's back at the pits.
almost finished.
What a brave man. Why is he back at the pits? The race isn't over.
We're nearly finished.
He hardly ran out of fuel, did he?
I don't know, but it's given Aaron time to catch up, even though he's...
That timer is going 90.
It's going up, then it's going down.
Aaron might get a free spot here.
Yeah.
That's for second place. That's worth a lot of points. That's like worth 18 points. Oh, he gets out of the pit.
Running out of fuel on the last lap.
Oh, Jer, you're so close. Oh, it's going to be... Oh, no. The oversteer kicked in. I think that kind of... Yeah, that lost him some time. Sweat is on. 0.8 seconds. We'll get him in this braking zone. Well done, Dara, by the way. What a race.
He got... You did say it at the start of the race that if someone could pull out ahead in the first corner, they might be able to maintain that position, and that was Dara.
That was Dara, yeah. I didn't expect him to command it that hard. Oh, that was so close.
Both cars close, but so
Pretty sure, Jer, you exceed the track limits there. Yeah. Oh, that was a good race. I don't expect the rest of this pack to change, to be honest. Sean is +5 laps. I'm surprised UL pitted so early, though.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have affected him an awful lot. Like Aaron
what
hasn't
happened.
managed to catch up, and so I don't think he was going to be catching up to Trevor. So
No,
Such an impressive lead, though, Dara had there with 11 and 12 seconds over second and third place, and falling into fourth.
Well,
That's a huge lead.
Yeah, no, it's impressive, to be honest. Like, I suppose he had the bravery, though, to go for the double, like the one stop with stops. Like, he wrote those first set of stops to, like, what, 18 minutes, I think, or 20 minutes or something? Like, he wrote at least halfway
How
through
much
the session.
fuel was he rocking? And the car must have been very heavy then in and out of those turns, but...
I think it was just quick. Like, he was making time on people at the start. Yeah, he had the better tyre, but he would have had a fair chunk of fuel as well, like. It was a good race by Trevor as well, though. Like, he's pulled out a fair bit ahead of the rest of the GT3 pack. Irla's come here in second place. Aaron was very close to actually getting that back there. I don't know, was he? Where is he? And I think that is nearly us. I don't think Stephen can really overtake anyone when everyone else is finished. Yeah, we'll have a look now at the stats, but no, that was a good race. Some interesting fights there. Obviously, Dara had a huge lead at the start. Interesting fight there between Peter and Jer at the end. But even then, they're kind of halfway through. Davide and Darren had a good fight. I think Oshin got a bit unlucky as well, though, with some of the...
Something happened at the start of the race, so he managed to claw back a tiny bit. But then I think he spun out again a second time, so that was just...
See if I can
very
turn off this.
unfortunate.
I can turn off this auto cap. We're turned off. Uh-oh.
Hidden
Oh,
away.
it's auto start. I want. Can I turn that off from in here? Actually, no, I can.
You're struggling here now, Jack.
As I said, this game isn't really designed for streaming. There's this thing on it that call it. Can we have a look here? Stop starting, please. Am I going to be able to? Am I going to be able to see that info? Yeah, I'm gonna swap to this screen and exit, and hopefully it'll tell me the stats I want. Tell me the stats I want. Oh no, it does. Okay, so the best lap in. Okay, no. I get no information. Thing is, if I start up the game again, it's going to crash OBS, so I can't really do that. Yeah, no, that was definitely a good race, though. So, like, congratulations to Dara for winning it, and congratulations to Trevor for coming first in the GT3 series. Very commanding lead as well, so he could actually prove hard enough to beat in the next track. I think the next track in the calendar as well is Monza. So, both of these, so Spa is quite a fast track, and Monza is especially fast. So it's kind of simple, but it means that the exit of the corners are really going to be where the what do we call it? Where the fights are kind of decided, or like where the overtaking stuff is really kind of set up and stuff. But yeah, what do you think, Oshin? I think that was your first time ever watching probably a full motor race.
It was very interesting. It was interesting, as I said there just beforehand, what you're saying at the start. But like if somebody can get a good start off, then that can lead to um, commanding position for the full race, as we saw then with Dar. It was also interesting then to see um, you meant like to see that there could be different strategies in the game. You know, it's not a sport that I would have assumed that there would have been an awful lot of strategies
Oh,
for.
yeah, well, I think it's the sort of thing that like it looks like on the surface that the strategies don't do much, but like the races can always be they're very close at the start. They spread out very thin at the middle, and then they all kind of come back then again. Like you seen there at the end that like even though there was a huge gap between like Jer and Peter for a while, that it kind of just closed back in on itself and got really
Yeah,
tight at the end again. So
no, it was very interesting.
no, it's definitely fun to cast. Like it's probably the first time I've ever cast a motor race as well, so just watch some other motor races, see how they actually pass the time in practice. But yeah, suppose that's pretty much it for now, guys. Do you have any other last comments or anything, Oshin?
No, just thanks for having me along. It has been immense fun watching it.
Yeah, no bother. Thanks for joining
Probably,
me.
probably haven't
Shout out
learned an awful
to
lot
all the
going live. But
participants.
shout out to all the participants indeed.
I'd definitely be a bit lonely if I was doing this by myself.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's
Couldn't really do that.
a good learning experience as well. Like, cause I feel like a lot of people who even like in the club here of the esports, they probably don't really recognize sim racing as a proper esport. But I think you can kind of see today that like it has all the same things that a game like League of Legends or kind of Counter Strike would have, and that it could actually be a very good esport if there was just people in it. Do you know, sort of kind of like what we do with Age of Empires.
Like I've noticed even looking into some of the Formula One community and some of the other simulation racing that they have these content creators on YouTube and Twitch. So I do believe the community still exists out there, but I definitely think it's in a much more fledgling state and before it comes to like more of a main stage.
I think you have such a high barrier to entry with these sort of games as well. Uh, like you kind of need a steering wheel and a pedals, and you can get some of that stuff cheap. Like I think Logitech G29 is usually a good place to start. I think
like, you wouldn't say to someone that they have the interest in shooting if they go into Counter Strike. Yet a lot of these people will have the interest in the real life. And there's a lot of translation there. And I think it's one of those esports, where you can realistically, actually practice it, in person.
it'd be like telling someone that they could play Counter Strike with a trackball. Isn't that right, Oshin?
I wouldn't know anything about that kind of stuff.
But yeah, no, I think we leave it there for this week. If anyone who's watching or anything has any suggestions on how we can change the format and stuff, as I said, this is our first time streaming this, so it's probably going to take us a couple of weeks just to kind of get familiar with kind of what we need to be looking at and that sort of thing. I feel like I need to try and find some extra plugins for the track position and maybe look into something with deliveries. I don't know if you found it, Ushin, but I thought it was kind of hard sometimes to tell who you were actually looking at with some of those cameras.
It was, yeah. Well, if it
Yeah,
was
I had to
telepathic
use
to you,
the
or
bottom left.
Yeah, well, I put that there just for that, but I think it made it hard then, like, because even I realized when Dara was going around the lap, sometimes it was just hard to know where he was. So
yeah, and there was a few times that happened with us where we'd see someone like spin out or something, and we weren't entirely sure who that was, or we weren't sure who was pitting until it,
oh
obviously
god, yeah, no,
demonstrated.
sure. Halfway through that race, they were just guessing. Like,
So no, it would be interesting now if we had something to be able to distinguish between the different competitors.
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I think we leave it there for tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. I've been Jack. He's been Ushin.
I've been doing okay.
Yeah. And thanks, Des, for joining us there at the end. Yeah.
No, of course.
We'll be doing this again next week, guys, for round 2. It's Monza, I think. Well, that's what's down in the PDF anyway. We'll see if that's actually what holds true. But yeah, if you have any suggestions or if you want to get involved in these sort of sports and stuff, feel free to check us out on our social medias. We have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, which I hope we have a Twitch if you're watching this. And also make sure to check out ULRM or UL Racing Motorsport. They're the ones that actually did the racing tonight. And without those guys, we definitely wouldn't have anything to kind of be watching or to be casting. So thanks to all those guys for actually putting in the work to get a server up and running and also to invite us over to have a look. And yeah, that's all for now, guys. Talk to you later.
And also to reiterate what was said yesterday, we will be doing AoE 2 next Tuesday. So if anyone would like to pop along.
Yes, we will
This
be
is like the
doing
bat
Age of
signal
Empires
to
too.
like all the Age of Empires players.
Play Age of
All
Empires.
Empires.
Download it now.
It's like those, those like not so subtle distress signals that you can give, like on a night out or something.
Yeah, you have like a keychain. It's like, it's just like screams walla lol.
I'll have a pint of lint, please. Yeah.
But yeah, come along. And sure, even if you just want to watch it next week for the first time, see what it's like, see what it's about, then by all means.
Yeah,
come
well, I
along.
think that's actually a good point. Like, we have all sorts of different esports. We have obviously the more popular ones like League and Counter-Strike and stuff, but we also try to look at the smaller games like Age of Empires, even tonight with the Assetto Corsa, and just like the other disciplines, and just to see what people, just kind of expose people to the sports that they may not have realized are out there. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for watching, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Good
Bye.
luck.